effort, Jacob had a question on Twitter. It seems like the D-line is so on and off. Last drive, they absolutely bullied South Carolina's offensive linemen because they knew they needed the ball and knew they needed to stop once we took the lead. Don't play angry/aggressive every down. Does he think it's because coaches have them too focused on covering gaps? And we kind of alluded to that a little bit too.
I'd be conflicted sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie with our defensive line play, and
Okay.
it's not because we don't have the guys or they don't have the energy. It's more so the style of play in which coaches are asking them to play.
Okay.
When I was at Florida, we didn't two gap anything. We were aggressive attacking defense. If you had the A gap, you were blasting through the A gap no matter what. That's your gap. You stay in it. And on some plays, our coach have these guys two gapping to where you're kind of head up on the guy and you're
Trying
just
to make a
mirroring
decision.
his movements. You're just mirroring his movements. If he goes to the right, then you're not in the front gap. You're in the back gap, but holding the back gap to where the linebacker will overplay that gap.
Interesting.
And I think sometimes that slows us down from being aggressive. It helps on the back end, but when you got the 3 down linemen on the run, it's going to hurt us if we're not filling our gaps as fast or reading the offense fast enough. And that's where some of those big runs come in at, because we're not firing off the ball by design, not by them being lazy or anything like that. We're just mirroring them. And I don't like that. I want to attack every play. Soon as the ball flinch, I want to be able to fly off the ball and smash whatever in the way. But certain defenses require certain things. And I think that's where we see the lack of emotion and excitement out of the guys. I believe our guys want to fly off the ball just from their personalities and stuff like that. But
So hold on, because I'm getting goosebumps. This is primetime television. I love this because look, you're speaking facts, and that's huge understanding. Because look, there is times like it makes no sense. Like, why do you look so aggressive? There was a play where it was just a Sapp, Banks, and Jackson, just the 3 of them. Everyone else played back. I think it was the first play of the game and a few other times, and they dominated the O-line. It was 3-on-5 and they dominated. And I'm like, how are 3 guys dominating? And we put the 4 biggest dudes on the football field up there, and we just look soft. That makes sense. So they're playing reactive versus just north and south, which I think that's going to translate to the NFL better, if I would have to imagine, because you want to be able to have both of those skills. But when you've got a young team, maybe focus, like you said, hey, let's focus on north and south. Let's just blow through them. Yeah, that's huge.
But, I mean, and when you got the 3, we have more people in coverage when you have 3 down linemen. So that helps us keep the ball in front of us, and you got to throw into tighter windows. But I'm a defensive line. I want to attack every play. I don't want to read nothing. I want to break face masks. So, I would like to see us attack more.
And look, maybe with Spencer Rattler back there, maybe there was reason for that. You don't want to just blow through the gap, kind of like what Sapp did, and then you leave a gap wide open.
And that guy was deceptively fast. I won't say he's fast, blazing fast, but he had some deceptive speed on him.
It did, right? Like all of a sudden, you're just like, he's gone. Whoa, where'd that come from?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, and that's why, and if we're rushing up the field like what happened on the first play where you showed me Sapp got up the field, then that's opening up lanes for him to take off and run. And then we're asking young corners to cover longer. And so you don't want to give up those type of big plays. So I can understand why the coach is doing what he's doing in certain situations. We got a young team. And so you got to kind of help them decipher things better. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so you got to get things like that. But on the run play, man, we got to get to our gaps faster and harder.
And that would explain the big runs, because if they're waiting to see which gap to go into, and again the O-line, they know what they're trying to get to. Right. They can bully you in a sense, right? Because you're hesitating, and then all of a sudden you're getting bullied. Yeah. And by the time even if you are a better player, by the time you get back, that running back's coming out a piss missile out of a cannon. They're gone. And
because what I noticed is sometimes we have 2 levels of people reading. We have the D linemen that are reading, and then you have the linebackers that are reading. Well, if you have 2 levels of people reading and nobody's tacking, if one person is wrong, the ball is gone. You know what I mean? Sure. At least if your linebackers are reading, your D linemen is attacking, at least you get the running back to start jump cutting in the backfield or you're knocking offensive linemen into the backfield where the rushing lane is not clear, where you got to stretch the ball a little further to get to the lane. That would allow for the linebackers to make up for a bad read. You know what I mean? But if we're both reading and then you're late on your read, the ball's coming at you north to south right now. And a lot of teams are starting to pick up on that on us, that we are reading and we're seeing the same type of runs happen to us, which we have to change. Because when you start getting top tier opponents and they're picking up on that and they're running at us, we don't want any more Kentucky situations. And if we don't plug those holes faster, we have a potential to have that happen. But I believe we can make the adjustments. We have the players. Like I said, they're just young. When you relying on safety help as your eighth man in the box and stuff like that, if they're not comfortable tackling big backs, that's why you get into some of those fronts. But I believe they're starting to put their big boy pants on.
For
And
sure.
they're starting to come up and fill some of those gaps. Hey, you got to get ran over a couple times to know that, hey man, you can do this. So what if you get ran over? It's for a 2-yard gain. I'd rather a 2-yard gain than 50 because you wasn't in the right spot or you didn't go put your hat on somebody. So
Absolutely. Well, Stephen Harry, this is always a blast.